Okay, so here we are from Zero Hedge. Just a little follow-up on the climate video I just did. ClimateGate 2. NOAA. Whistleblower claims world leaders fooled by fake global warming data. Dr. John Bates' disclosures about the manipulation of data behind the so-called Pause-Buster paper is the biggest scientific scandal since ClimateGate. In 2009, when Britain's Daily Mail reported thousands of leaked emails, revealed scientists were trying to block access to data and using a trick to conceal embarrassing flaws in their claims about global warming. And here we are, Britain's Mail on Sunday. We'll just flip over to that there before. There you go. So this is your lamestream media, your very own. So we can't think this is fake, right? Okay. And here he is. But the whistleblower, Dr. John Bates, a top NOAA scientist with impeccable reputation, has shown the Mail on Sunday irrefutable evidence that the paper was based on misleading, unverified data. It was never subjected to NOAA's rigorous internal evaluation process, which Dr. Bates devised. His vehement objections to the publication of the faulty data were overridden by his NOAA superiors in what he describes as a blatant attempt to intensify the impact of what became known as the Pause-Buster paper. And we can see down here in this chart from 1997, you know, it's gone up and down, but it really hasn't done too much. 2010, okay, 2010, 2015, we've got a little peak here, and now in 2017 it's dropped off again. Now the red line is the flawed NOAA data showing higher temperatures, and the blue line is the verified Met Office data showing lower temperatures. There you go. And again, you know, like I would point out here, if you take this, even the top line of the red, 1.2 degrees C, and the bottom line of the blue, 0.2 degrees C, we're only looking at 1 degree of variation, and it really hasn't gone very much either side of the average. Okay? So I just thought I'd bring you that little piece of news there, and yeah, it's all starting to come out, folks. Yeah, this CO2 carbon tax is nothing but a huge scam to get money out of your pocket. Okay, and speaking of money, I picked up this little article. Get ready for gold to surge in 2017, and this is talking about the fact that gold is going to rally over uncertainty over Trump's policies and the health of the global economy. But the key reason is the Chinese. And yeah, there are a range of emerging threats to global economic stability, which have the potential to spark another financial crisis. Key among them are growing fears over the sustainability of China's economic growth and the health of its financial system. Beijing has demonstrated a preference for using debt-funded fiscal stimulus to meet GDP growth targets, whilst using debt to fund economic development is in itself not necessarily a bad thing. It becomes problematic when it is used to prop up unproductive industries and ailing state-run enterprises. Analysts expect Beijing to double down on its using debt-fueled fiscal stimulus and infrastructure investment to drive economic growth during 2017. Further magnifying the fissures which exist in China's economy. These include pockets of excess supply in a range of sectors, a proliferation of unprofitable state industries, credit-fueled construction bubble, and an overheated housing market. Where have we heard that before? Japan, North America, Britain, Europe. They just never seem to learn. Anyway, because gold is a safe haven kind of metal, there are people now flocking, and will continue to flock, to gold. Because one way or another, the big problem is we have just so much debt in the world today. There is no possibility to be able to clear the debt, and the debt has to be resolved somehow, because it's two sides of the equation. Both sides have to balance, and that is the problem. So what I can see is there is going to be some kind of debt jubilee. I don't think they can do it any other way, because these debts are so finely divided. You know, they've taken a slice of a mortgage and attached that to other types of debt to create a mortgage-backed security, sold that as a financial asset, which has then been taken and sliced again and repackaged. So nobody knows who owns these mortgages anymore. Nobody knows who owns these loans, these financial products. They have been so chopped up, they can't actually be resolved in any way, shape or form, except by some kind of jubilee or cancelling of debt from top to bottom. And when that happens, I think there will be an incredible amount of pressure to go under some kind of gold standard, silver standard, or even Bitcoin standard. I think Bitcoin could very well become the reserve currency of the world, an independent, standalone, inscrutable currency that everyone trades into and out of between currencies. So, for example, if I wanted to buy something in Europe, I would trade through Bitcoin. That would be my transfer currency from Canadian dollars to Bitcoin to whatever they're using in Europe. We'll say euros for the time being. And that's how I would receive my product. So Bitcoin could be a very, very, very good transactionary tool. The blockchain of accounting is quite an incredible thing. And you know, even criminals need a level playing field. They need some kind of honest system, because when you have only criminals in charge, then there is no clear pathways. There is nothing restricting anybody from doing anything to anybody, and this makes actually criminality more difficult than you can imagine. All criminality, I believe, needs to have a straight and laid out path through some kind of legal system, some kind of justice system, which holds everything in balance. And right now we're totally out of balance. Anyways, I think that's what's going to happen. I'm very bullish on silver personally. There is some statistics about silver which are just absolutely incredible, not the least of which is the fact that we've drawn down just about all of our strategic reserve of silver, and we're now coming up with more uses of silver. And as we go into the solar era, those solar panels, those big solar panels that you see in farmers' fields, they take about an ounce of silver each one. And the big news is that countries like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Bahrain, all of these places that have lots and lots of sunshine and lots of empty space are putting in solar panels for desalination. Okay, right now they're using oil, which is incredibly expensive, and they're realizing, of course, the oil is a very sought after commodity for now the extracts out of oil, like the plastics and the pharmaceuticals and the vitamins and the creams and the oils and goodness knows what else they take out of crude oil. So they're turning over to solar, but can you imagine how much silver is going to be required to do that? And now you may not have been around long enough to see, but I remember when palladium was about the same price as silver, and all of a sudden they started using palladium in catalytic converters, and next thing you know, is $1,200 an ounce, just because it couldn't be got out of the ground quickly enough to meet the demand, and so prices rose to increase the amount of mining that was going on for palladium. And anyway, so the same thing could easily be happening with silver, because everything we use, every electronic device, has a little bit of silver in it. It may only be small, but it's essentially irretrievable. So most of the silver that we use in industrial processes goes and doesn't come back. Okay, so yes, I'm very bullish on silver in any form, in maple leaf, in silver dollars, or in ingots. I prefer silver dollars myself because I think that they seem to be a lot more transactable. I don't like the idea of getting 10-ounce bars and what have you. I mean, what are you going to do to transact with that? Are you going to cut that up into little pieces and collect all the shavings? And no. I can assure you, if we get to that situation, there will be a guy or a woman in your local grocery store, and as you go in, they'll be sitting there with a pair of scales, and you will give them silver or gold or whatever metal they will take, and they will give you a token to go into the store, and you will spend the token on food, and but you will actually be paying in silver, because, well, I think our fiat currencies are teetering right now. There is a lot of trouble out there in the economy. Anyway, this is Hound Dog Steve signing off, and if you like this video, subscribe, click like, and go to my website for lots of other information and other things going on. I've just got it set up, and working on filling out the content there, and we'd love to see you. Okie dokie. Good night.